two special guests with us here today. We have Mark over here on my left. We have Ricky on my right. And you all know them from Frank L. Bloom. They're going to be giving us an update today. And you notice we are all wearing our masks right now because with me in the center, we're not quite 6 feet apart. But as soon as I leave the area here, they're going to go ahead and take off their masks so you can hear them a little bit clearer through the microphones because they are more than 6 feet apart. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
See if I can do
The unmasking, here goes.
They're doing a wardrobe change right now.
All right.
Okay.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Good.
Well, thank you for having us. And Mark, thanks for socially distancing. We're probably 8 to 10 feet, so we're in good shape. What we want to do is what we've kind of normally done on the monthly meetings is give you guys some updates on construction progress. We're going to do it with some still images that we've taken of the healthcare facility as well as the wellness expansion. I think everybody has been following the progress on the expansion portion up by links. And we've recently started having folks move into the hybrid apartments. So now that we have all of our certificates of occupancy for the hybrid apartments, the cottages, and the clubhouse, that side of the campus is really close to being finished other than just some finishing touches with landscaping and just some minor punch items. So we're going to spend a lot of the time walking you through some pictures today of what's going on at wellness and healthcare. And along the way, we're going to answer some questions that have been brought up. So we're going to answer those a little bit along the way and then maybe a few at the end. So we're going to start with what's going on. So here's our wellness expansion. This is a view from, as you see these cars along the right side where the cones are, that's all new parking. So we've added some curb and gutter, some freshed up some of the parking and expanded it right across from the maintenance facility entrance. And so as soon as construction's over, we'll be out of those spots. But this is the view, again, kind of with your back towards the Shepherd School and that little horseshoe drop-off in the back. So you can see what that entrance will look like. I think things to notice is you don't see any brick yet. The brick is on the other side of the building, starting in that direction. But you can see that the windows are in. They kind of look black, but you can see the reflection. So we're closing those all the way around to one small opening left so that we can get some of the largest pieces of equipment still out. Here's another view a little bit closer to the front, and you can see that lift to the right with the gentleman in the orange shirt. Again, they're working on trying to close up the last bit of glass.
We left that window out, many of you may have noticed, for a long time, and some people asked me, was that a mistake or was that an accident? And it was actually something we did intentionally because we still had these big, large scissor lifts inside the building upstairs, and we needed to have a good way to get them out. So we left that window uninstalled for a good period of time, but we've gotten to the point now we can get those big machines out, replace them with smaller machines that don't need to lift quite as high, and close those windows up.
Yeah, so let's move to the inside. So this, as it says, this is a view on the lower level. It's a little crowded because this is where everything is moving to be out of the way, but this is kind of viewing the equipment gym and fitness area. So you see the windows to the back that have a blue X on them. That's the tape, just so folks know that's not an opening, it's a window, and that is, on the other side of that is the gym court. So you get an idea of where you'll be. All the fitness equipment will be kind of in those right two bays between the columns that you see there. Don't know if this laser will show up on the screen, but this is the fitness area and where the equipment will go. A couple questions that were asked related to the wellness. One was, is the date for the new wellness center still on target for August and what's left to do? We currently are on pace to turn this facility over so that River Landing can actually get the fitness equipment in and get it all tested and hooked up. So we are all optimistic that it'll be open in August. Obviously, with group gatherings, the facility will have to choose to kind of figure out how that works as far as social distancing. But right now, the construction is still slated to finish on time. I think one of the other questions related is who's responsible for buying the exercise equipment? And River Landing is actually purchasing that equipment. We'll help coordinate the install, all of the underground electrical, all of the lights, everything that's kind of has really been coordinated with where the equipment itself will go. so that you can plug in and have outlets and not have a lot of trip hazards. So they've really carefully thought out where all that equipment's going to make sure that it's easy to get to. So let's move around a little bit more in the Wellness Center. It's a little bit of a vertical picture to give you an idea of the height in there. And this is a view looking back from kind of the corner of the entry. On the earlier shot, I showed you where the gentleman in the orange shirt and the lift was. This is kind of on the other side of that wall, looking at an angle across the gym. And you can see where the walking track kind of disappears around to the upper level. And you can see some of the large exposed timber structures. One of the things we might not have had in previous pictures is these large fans that are hanging down with pendants. And I believe these blades are either 12 foot or 14 foot in diameter, but they're big fans, and they'll put out they'll move a lot of air in there to keep just to keep it very comfortable. You can see that the walls are starting to be painted. One of the last things we'll do is, this is the court, and we'll have it's a true wood basketball court that will be going down, and it's one of the last things we do for a couple reasons. One is you have to have really good control of the temperature, or else the wood will move a lot, which you do not want to happen. So we're going to try to get as much of the work finished as we can. In addition, we're trying to finish a lot of the overhead work so that the large rolling equipment won't need to be in that area once we put the gym flooring down. Here's another view just a little bit farther back, really of the same angle. You get a really good idea of what the area below the walking track looks like. You can see how the exposed ductwork, which normally ductwork is rectangular in shape, but you can see when we do it exposed, we tend to do what they call spiral ductwork, which is either round or oval shaped, just a little bit nicer. It moves the air nicer. And you can see we're painting all the exposed steel and metal a nice color, just to let it all kind of blend in with the connections.
Now, Ricky, is that going to be the final basketball goal?
You mean this goal right here?
Yes, that goal right there.
I think that goal looks pretty nice. Looks like the one I grew up playing on. That is not the final basketball goal. We're going to have a nice goal that actually mounts with some exposed timbers and some steel that will hang off of this level. And it will be like a typical goal that will be at 10 foot high. You'll be able to adjust it down to, I believe, about 7 foot. So they'll be able to adjust it up and down so that if folks want to have a little bit shorter goal to shoot on, or if somebody's grandchildren here and they want to have a shorter goal, there's all that flexibility.
Mark, I'm glad you asked that question because I thought maybe it got value engineered out. So I'm glad you addressed that.
Now that's still an option. We could provide this goal as a credit. We could talk about that later.
In all seriousness, somebody found this goal. We kind of brought it in as a joke, and we've left it there because we just thought it's been a good reminder of what's going to happen at the end of the day with the physical activity in the gym and court area. One of the things you can see, and I think you'll see it in another view, but you're starting to see some of this decorative railing system, and I'm going to move. I think you see it a little bit better here. It's a really nice powder-coated steel, which means they've painted it in a factory off-site so that you get a better kind of monolithic finish on it. And we have bolted connections so that you're not having to kind of weld around stuff you just painted. And we still have our temporary wood fencing around it to keep some protection off of it and make sure it doesn't get damaged. But we'll certainly take that up so that we can put the walking track flooring that goes around here.
And I always get nervous around, especially the mall or glass handrails or things or rails you can really just see through, just the sturdiness factor. I always get nervous getting up close to it. And I've been real happy with how strong this rail is. It doesn't wobble with me shaking on it, so it's pretty stout.
So you've got these plates with really long lag screws that go into that heavy timber, and it's, as you said, it's really stout. So we're pleased that it won't be a safety issue to have that railing there. Just another view along kind of the length of it. And you start getting an idea of really how much, there's a lot of steel that still has to go into a heavy timber frame to resist lateral loads, and it's a structural phenomenon to still use timber construction to make a building stand up. It's pretty fascinating. You get a little bit better view back to that first wall we were talking about. So Again, the fitness equipment's on the other side of this, so they're really trying to let a lot of that natural light from the gym kind of filter in, and you're able to look back and forth from the court to the fitness center, and it's just really an open, airy feel, so we think it's going to be a great space. Again, you can see those large fans that are spaced throughout. And we're going to move on to the healthcare facility. I think a lot of you folks may have been able to obviously see this from the outside, and you probably haven't seen a lot of changes to the outside in the coming weeks. We've pretty much been finished with the exterior. Talking with River Landing, you guys work a lot with Tom's Creek, who does a phenomenal job of landscaping your campus, and over the next couple weeks, I believe they're going to come in weather dependent and really start filling in the rest of these areas with the landscaping. And you'll see some images in a little bit of the courtyard, and they did a phenomenal job in the courtyard. So we fully expect the front of this building is going to look fantastic too, and I think it will really blend in with the areas that it's infilled. So now we're going to move inside. This is a view of the dining, the bistro area, and you'll see several angles of it because we wanted you to be able to see as far back kind of this nice little border pattern that they put in with this resilient plank flooring. And if you can see this pattern, it's laid in a herringbone pattern, which gives it some really nice definition. And you know, over the coming weeks, as they start trying to put in the tables and chairs and the linen, it's really going to take on a fantastic look. So we're excited about this progressing onto a finished state to where eventually the residents, you guys can start using the facility.
I can smell the pizza already.
Yes. Here's a view a little bit closer, and you guys have seen this before, but again, it's a little bit more of a finished state. I keep wanting to call it a pizza oven, but it's a wood-fired oven. You can put a lot of things in there, certain types of sandwiches, paninis, well, maybe not a panini, but just pizzas, different kinds of anything you want to put in the wood-fired oven. Sandwich display. They've got the sneeze guard and the hot well, so they'll be able to serve right around here. So they've done a really good job. We really love this tile. We've had a lot of folks that have given a lot of positive feedback. Just a really neat looking facility. So moving on, just a little bit more of a view back, and there's a long corridor right here that really runs back into the main part of the household at Pebble Beach. So when you come in that main porte cochere and turn right past the first set of double doors, this corridor eventually snakes its way back there. So you'll certainly be able to see that here in the coming weeks. Let's see if I've got a question here. So one of the questions that we got on the healthcare was, there was a question about what is the projected date for the healthcare bistro to open, and if it opens, how can it be used during the pandemic? Certainly the social distancing and social gathering is, everybody's still under governor's orders and whatever orders that River Landing decides to put in place. One of the things that we are working on is we're really trying to get the kitchen open so that will help alleviate the cooking conditions for the staff that are having to go from different households. And so we're really working hard at a minimum to get that open. And one of the things we've got to do is we've got a state inspection that we have to have before we can turn this facility over. And right now the state is not making trips because of the COVID-19 virus. So we've been trying to figure out what can we do, maybe thinking outside of the box to make that go. So we've been having some conversations with this state agency, DHSR, about doing a virtual inspection. And so right now we're trying to line up a virtual inspection for next week to where we can take our laptop tablet with a camera, get above ceiling, have flashlights, and be able to talk to them at the same time to show them some of these areas. They want to see above ceiling. They want to see some of the fire protection system work in the kitchen. So we're really trying to go out of the way to do something a little bit different to get that inspection so that we can turn the kitchen over to River Landing and let them start producing meals out of that kitchen. And again, that will really alleviate staff having to go back and forth so far. So we're really cautiously optimistic that we're going to be able to turn over that kitchen in the coming weeks. But again, as far as being able to occupy, I don't think any of us have those answers. It's really up to what the state is saying and the mandates that the River Landing's putting out, quite frankly, for everyone's protection. So we hope to have more information on that before too long, but we do hope to get the kitchen turned over sooner than later. Speaking of the kitchen, a lot of people don't get to see the kitchens, so we still want to show those. Commercial kitchens there's a lot of work to make these happen and a lot of coordination. And I'm not sure how much we've told you about it before, but we've put in these resinous flooring systems that make it really nice to be able to clean up. It's comfortable on the staff's feet, so if they're cooking and standing all day, it provides some relief. We've got some walk-in coolers and freezers to be able to store some of the food locally so they're not having to transport it every day from a remote location at the loading dock. They can kind of stage it out of here. Gas pipes always painted yellow. It looks really pretty. We know that they make us paint it yellow for the inspections.
Makes it easier to clean.
That is true. Another view looking back at those same walk-ins. And kind of just one last view of some of the other cooking equipment as well. Really nice kitchen. I know Joseph and his staff are excited about being able to use it. Mark, you want to talk a little bit about the household areas, the dining?
Well, it's a beautiful living room and a great activity room, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it with all the furniture and the furnishings that the interior designers have picked, because they always do a fabulous job. But I'm not sure which views we have, but you're looking towards the fireplace right now, and there's actually it's pretty neat. I'm going to let you all in on a secret here. So those two mirrors that you see. One of those mirrors is actually a one-way glass window to the nurse's station. So instead of having a traditional, nurse station where it's tucked behind glass and kind of imposing and you feel like you're always being watched, the nursing station allows the nurses and staff to check on the residents without being imposing and always feeling like somebody's watching you all the time. So it's just one of those neat little details that's been put all into the design of this project.
And to give you some perspective, this is the wall that backs up to the Pebble Beach 2 current living area. And so you're able to see that, just get an idea where it is. We'll show you the other one. There's a picture towards the end that shows you the Pebble Beach 1 side. So they're very similar, just mirrored, and have some different colors. This is in the same room with your back to the fireplace, looking back towards the household kitchen. So there's a small little kitchen that actually supports each of those dining and activity spaces. It's really nice. And then the serving station. So again, with your back to the fireplace, just kind of looking to the back left of the room or the front left of the room. They've got a great serving station. I've picked some beautiful tile and some sconces, pendants to really kind of highlight the room there. And this is the view from the again, it looks very similar. It's just mirrored in layout, and this backs up to the Pebble Beach 1 side. And Mark mentioned the mirror, kind of the glass. It looks like mirror, but they're able to see through from the other side. And I'll show you what that nurse's workroom is looking like if you haven't seen it walking down the corridors. Well, let me actually show you the courtyard first. We mentioned how nice the courtyard was looking and what a great job Tom's Creek has done. They've really done a good job of, in an enclosed place, of putting a lot of, hardscape, which is concrete, but also doing a lot of the boulders and the washed river rock along with the pine bark mulch. And they're doing a really good job of trying to make sure that they're able to control basically the drainage when you have a heavy rain in an enclosed courtyard. And anybody that didn't have a heavy rain this weekend, I don't know where you were, but it looks like it held up pretty well. So excited about that. Just another view. Again, this is kind of a view looking back to the tie-in point with Pebble Beach 2. So
it's a really nice outdoor space.
So Ricky, this is what's behind that new area that they see. So the healthcare bistro area. This is what's right directly behind it that you can't see from that area up front.
So, and a great thing about it is if you want to go from the Pebble Beach 1 to Pebble Beach 2, there is an actual corridor that kind of runs L-shaped this way, and then it turns back 90 degrees. And so it kind of bypasses the kitchen, the dining, and multi-purpose space so that you can go around that.
And I don't know if Ricky mentioned, but the two look like jugs on the left. They're actually water features, so there'd be a nice little water fountain area in that courtyard as well.
Good point. Good point. So this is the nurse workroom that Mark kind of referenced through the window. So that window is really, once you go inside this door, that window's looking right about there into it. And so, again, windows on two sides of the space, just so there's a lot better view from the into the quarters. Again, just making sure that everybody's safe and that the nurses can attend to any issues that may arise. And visibility is part of that. And you can still see we've got the floor protection down, again, wanting to make sure that the carpet is staying safe. And we're going to hopefully pull that up as soon as we can to, make sure we don't have any trip hazards. But a really kind of nice looking space with another view of it as you really are coming through the double doors at the entrance to Pebble Beach from the porte cochere drop-off. And then we've also actually really close to finishing up the central bathing, at least the first one that's in the Pebble Beach 1 household. And at some point in the future with the Pebble Beach 2 central bathing, we'll get the same types of finishes. So you can see the interior designers did a really great job of just picking some tile, having some millwork over here with some storage and linen cabinets and, great tile on the floor. And here's a view back looking the other way. You can just see the edge of the new bathing tub that's in there. So going to be a great facility. I think everyone really enjoyed getting to use that.
So Ricky, I've got some more questions for you.
Great.
Now that the construction trailer's been removed, does that mean the construction slowed down since, management's not on site anymore?
Yeah, so there's a question, and I want to clarify that. Management is on site. We've, with the trailer being removed, we certainly reduced our staff once the cottage is finished and the hybrids and the golf clubhouse. We just simply didn't need as many folks under one roof, which was the trailer. So in order to keep costs down on the project, we were able to get rid of the trailer. Now, we've still got folks on site, but we're just probably doing a pretty good job of hiding them. A lot of them are on the back side of campus. For a while, some of the folks that are up in the Presbyterian Homes main office were down on a lower level on the back side of campus. I think it was known as the annex at one time. So we've taken some of the offices down there, and that way we're trying to stay separated. Again, we're able to come in through a back door. Particularly in this environment, it really helps us stay separated. So we're down there. We've still got 5 or 6 folks that are working out of that office, as well as our supervision, still working on the healthcare facility and working on the wellness center. So we've not gone anywhere in mass. We were allowed to let some of the folks that were working on the projects we completed go to other jobs. But you still got the same guys that are working on these other projects for you. So we're here.
And I'd like to think that we haven't slowed down.
No.
We're just not working on as much of your campus at once. So we're just more consolidated and focused and be more surgical as opposed to what we were doing for the past almost 2 years.
And I think one of the things, evidence of that is you'll see at the healthcare building where we've had the fence up, we still have to have the fence to lay down some of our materials and stage what's coming up in healthcare next, some of the phase 2 work. But we're going to be able to give back some of that parking. We don't need as much of that lay down area anymore. So you might start seeing some of the windscreen coming off of that fence in front of the healthcare building, and us starting to pull back some of that fencing. So we're going to try to give back as much of the parking as we possibly can, while still leaving us enough room to operate and stage the materials out of. So you'll start seeing that changes here in the next couple of weeks as well.
Speaking of parking, what are you going to do with that area where the construction trailer was?
That's a great question, Mark. So a lot of people have been asking, that trailer's gone, so what's happening now? Well, you've seen it probably get a few more piles of dirt, and there's a reason for that. The grade over there is really supposed to come up about another 2 feet higher than where it is now per the original plans. We couldn't do that while the trailer was there. So now that the trailer's gone, and we're going to be able to move some of the trucks that have been parking up there, starting next week, weather pending, we're going to start moving some of that dirt and starting to level that back out a little bit in the hopes that when we leave, we're going to leave you guys with a little bit of a temporary overflow parking, and they'll certainly start to be dressed up. So that's the plans for what's going to happen over there.
I've always heard that the bricklayers are the hardest workers because they're the skinniest. What do you think about that, Ricky?
I'm trying to think of what that says about me. I don't know if that's good or bad, but we've bricklaying is actually it's an art, it's a craft that folks take for granted, and we've had some really great masons working on all the projects out here, giving you a really high level of quality. And the folks that are working on wellness, we've been a little slow getting started because we've had to put all, I think if you saw the blue that was on the face of the wellness building, we've told you before that's a waterproofing membrane. So you've got to let that get in and get cured and set your, put your windows in so that we can lay the brick up to it. So, so most of the brickwork is coming around the elevator or the stair shaft on the Glen Eagle side of the addition and kind of working around to the front of the building. So if we can keep the sun outside, we'll start to see
Still
that.
high quality, but we wouldn't mind seeing them go a little faster too.
Yeah, we're going.
Don't think that we don't notice that.
Yeah.
But they are working very hard.
Mark, I got a question for you, since you asked me a question.
All right. What's your question?
So the
Ricky?
fence is down around hybrids and the eighth hole, but the windscreen's still up by the front entrance, piled together behind that green on number 8. What's up with that?
Yeah. So I'm going to go get that either today or tomorrow and put it in the back of my truck and move it because it's been on my list of things to do for far too long.
All right,
So
y'all
we wanna
heard that.
Make sure that happens.
It's going to be taken care of today or tomorrow.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Any other great questions that are out there?
I think we have one more on there.
Let's see.
Ooh, would you like to ask it?
Sure. Okay, you ready?
Oh, no.
Status of the gatehouses, or gatehouse.
Ricky, why don't you answer that one?
The gatehouse or the gates? So we have been, as you notice, we've had the maybe unsuccessfully barricaded the gatehouse at times. You know, I think when the whole COVID-19 happened and the campus decided to kind of narrow down to one entrance, it really helped because we were really in a rush to try to get it open, and then we all kind of said, well, to keep the one entrance as a checkpoint, we really weren't pushing to get that open as much, but we really want to finish and just turn it over now. You've seen over the last couple of weeks the paving get done, and we've been finishing with some of the exterior kind of roof details and gutters and downspouts and some of the trim details. But we've really been waiting on our friend that you guys have heard us talk about before, is Duke Energy. Duke's really close to getting us the power we need to that building so that we can get the air started and do some final things inside, like make sure the flooring stays down. If it doesn't have good temperature and humidity control, that floor might pop up, and we don't want Homer to have to deal with that and his staff. So we're trying to get that
When
finished.
Ricky says they're close, I mean, they are really close. They've pulled the wire, and it is up the pole, and it is, all it needs to do is attach the other wires. But they need a transformer, and they've got to hang that and get that done. So they are within 6 feet of where they need to be. It's really tempting just to make them touch, but we'll leave that to the folks at Duke Energy.
Yeah. But we do appreciate the folks that have, you know, tried to heed the big ugly red barricade. We really just want to keep people safe, and it's, you know, it's not the place to drive through or walk through right now. So we've been, we had to take the fencing down so we could finish the paving, and we're working with Scooter and his guys. We rework a little bit of irrigation around the new curb outline and get some of the landscaping and seating put in. But as Mark said, we're really, really close to having that John Knox entry kind of back and available to let River Landing. I know there's a lot that Homer's going to go over in the coming weeks as they start preparing for what happens when you open. I think everybody's heard us talk about in the past, you know, with the, tags on your cars and barcodes and access.
New process and which lane is which.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a learning curve that, you know, River Landing and the security team is going to go through with you guys in the coming weeks. But we're really close.
No, nobody wants to get done with that gatehouse more than us. I promise.
Yeah, we have a lot of pre-gate things we need to do on this end. So next week, residents, you may all start to see Homer and his group out there. We have some sheets to be able to pass out to you all. We need to find out how many vehicles you have, how many tags you need, how many you'd like to order for your guests. Once we are in a position again to have your guests come back to River Landing, we're not there yet, obviously, but a lot of pre-work we need to do before we get ready to open the gates.
I think that's all we have.
Is that
Well,
it?
thanks to everybody for letting us speak, and it was good to see you guys again. There are actually pictures of everybody sitting in the chair, so we feel like you're here.
That's our exercise class. So our instructor stands up on the stage and she looks out to her people.
I love it.
Fantastic.
Absolutely love it.
Very cool. Well,
Everyone stay safe.
and thank you all for coming. We love it when you both come and give us an update. And Bloom, you all are just great to work with. So thank you for coming and sharing. And we'll wish you all a great weekend. Thank you.
Take care.